How y'all doing tonight? When you get on, please just join in the chat bar there. Let me know that you are here. Thank you. So tonight, we're going to talk about... there's George. Hey, George, how are you, brother? So tonight, our topic tonight, a very timely one, where we are going to talk about whether it's better to play on chord changes or play in the key of. What are the pluses and what are the minuses of both of those things. And I just want to come over here and pop that there. Bam. Go over here. Sorry, just coming back here. Coming back to home. And let's see. And where am I? Where am I? Just trying to find myself. Where am I here? Going home. Go to home. Looking for my live stream. Looking for some live stream, baby, this evening. Looking for some live stream. There I am. Hello, Doug. Hi, Doug. Let's see, who else is here? Lefty54. What's happening, Art, there? All right, let me just share. Can I share this? Yes, I can. Let's see. They would like it. They would like it. They would like it. They would. There. Sharing this one everywhere, baby. All my friends. See if we can get a bunch of people on here and really get a discussion going, as opposed to the few hardcore followers here. My men and women. Let's see. Bam. Bam. Guitar Universe. Jazz Guitar Addiction. Jazz Guitarists. There's a lot of groups. I belong to a lot of groups. I like that though, because I get a lot of good info, belonging to all these groups. I would suggest that you guys do that too. Join a bunch of groups on Facebook. It's fun. Let's see. Bam, bam. Gonna go there, there. Not there, but there. Gonna try there. Yeah, sure. That. There. Pow, there. Hope everybody's doing good today. And we've had a crazy amount of snow, which, what can I say? It's winter, and that's what's supposed to happen. And this year, it is happening like crazy. And so yeah, I'm into it. Definitely into it. And hey, can you guys, everybody, can you two guys hear me well out there? My Jazz Times, Guitars Are Wild, Gypsy, making music. That's a great site. Pow. Okay, there we go. I have shared. I have posted. All right. So let's jump in and get started here. So why don't I demonstrate what I mean by playing in the key of or playing on the chord changes. All right. And so a great song to play this with or to demonstrate this with is Autumn Leaves. And oh, good, George. You said this sounds good for you. Excellent. So I'm going to do this in the guitar key, which is G major or E minor, as opposed to the horn key, which is B flat. So I'm going to do this in the guitar key, and I'm going to play the head, and then I'm going to solo in the key of. All right. So we are in the key of G major. All right. And then we go to E minor. So I'm gonna, and E minor is relative to G major. So let me hit some play action here. Whoops. Stop. Okay. I can't stop the music. I can't stop the music. There you go. Okay, good. All right. So, there I was playing what I would consider in the key of. I was trying not to sound out the chord changes. Sometimes I just can't help it that I just hear the chord changes, and so I gravitate to those chord tones. But you could see that playing in the key of, especially in a song like this, kind of works out nice, doesn't it? And so that that was a little demonstration of playing in the key of G. I'm playing a G scale, right? Now, one thing I will say is that if you are, if you are a scale person, you should make sure that you know your scales everywhere. One of the things that a lot of sort of beginner level players do is that whenever they play a scale, they start on the root of that. Like if they're playing a G scale, they start on G, right? And so, you know, okay, like in the beginning, if you can't do anything else, do that. But obviously, the first thing that you need to do is you need to be able to play your G scale everywhere. So, in the progression of things, what I used to do to test myself would be I would start on any note in the G scale and play my way out of it. All right. So somebody out there in the chat bar, throw down a note that's in a G scale, and I'll play my way out of it. Just throw a note in the chat bar that's in a G scale, and I will play my way out of it. Okay. Go. And as you know, there is that 30-second delay because I'm streaming and I'm using Restream, so there's a little bit of a delay. But throw down in the chat bar. Uh, you know, just give me a note that's in a G scale, and I will start the G scale from that note, and I will play in either direction. Okay, so we got an F sharp and we got an E. All right, so F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, E, 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 E. All right. So that took a couple of thousand hours of practice, to be able to do that. But that's a great practice, to play any scale, to play a scale starting on any note in that scale and be able to play your way out of it. And I know that a lot of you will go, oh well, that's modal playing, because you're starting a G scale on the E, so that's a natural minor scale. Yes, that's true, And that's like saying, the word the comes out of the alphabet. That's true. But so does alphabet, the word alphabet, So there's a lot of things that can be pulled out of a scale: modes, chords, all kinds of groovy items. So when I play in the key of, which more or less means playing on a scale or a mode, or something, I have a lot of options that I feel comfortable all over the neck, and that just comes from practicing. So just make sure that you're practicing. So now let's go to the next one, and this kind of blows my mind, and I'll tell you why. So the next thing is playing on the chord changes. So I'm often shocked. I shouldn't be shocked after a million years of doing this and teaching this to people, that there are people that solo and they don't know the chord changes that they're soloing on. So they'll come to me and they'll be, Doug, show me how to blow on chord changes, and I'll be like, okay, let's do autumn leaves. Great. Okay, yeah. So play me the chords. Well, and they kind of like struggle through it. And so I would say, if you want to play in chord changes to a song, you should know the chords, right? And you'll also notice that I knew the melody of the song, so that during my solo I can refer back to the melody. All right. So that's another big thing, is knowing the melody. So again, going back to this autumn leaves, my two guys in the chat bar, Arthur and George, let me know. Do you know the chord changes by heart, and do you know the melody by heart to this song? So throw it in the chat bar there if you know the chord changes and the melody. And while you do that, I am going to demonstrate playing with. I'm going to demonstrate. Yikes! I'm going to try to demonstrate playing. Why is this doing this? I'm going to demonstrate playing over. There you go. Playing over on the chord changes. So I'm going to see. So George says yes. Oh, look, Michael Getz is calling me. I decline you, Michael Getz. All right. So I'm going to play on on the chord changes here. So here we go. So as opposed to playing in the key of, now I'm going to really try and play on the chords. Yes. All right. So there we go, playing more on the chords. All right. So, what would possess somebody to want to play on the chords? You know, like why would you want to play on the chord changes as opposed to playing on a scale? You know, in the key of. So I would say one of the many things that would push you to do it would be whoever it was you were listening to that you liked the sound of. You know, so say, you know, all of a sudden you started discovering Charlie Parker and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I want to do what he does." Or Django Reinhardt, you know, tons of players, you know, and they're playing on each chord, you know. And so that would push you to explore this. And now, when you're playing on chord changes, I'll throw it out to the chat bar. My two guys in the chat bar. It's just the three of us hanging. You know, it's chill. It's total chill. And I would ask you guys, what is the very first thing? If you're going to learn how to play on chord changes, what are the first two chord changes that you should practice like crazy to work on? Any ideas? So throw it up there in the chat bar if you have any ideas about, you know, what you should work on. You know, like I want to start working on playing on the chord changes. What's the most fundamental? You know, like where do most people start when they're playing on chord changes? Let's see. Wow, it's a big delay on this thing, but I'm patient. I'm a patient guy. I can wait. 251, you got it, brother. Oh, we got a new guy, Mr. Will. Welcome, 251. Correct Amundo. So if we are in the key of G major, Sean Bauer transcribing for reference, maybe. Absolutely. Transcribing is where it's at. you know, without a doubt. That's where everything comes from, is that, again, like I said before, you find your favorite player and you realize that this player is playing on chord changes. So you're transcribing what they're doing, and then you're like, oh, you know, so you hear a line like, and you're like, well, what was that? That wasn't a scale. So that was a 2-5-1 in C, right? Actually, that was a 3-6-2-5-1. E minor, A, D7, G. So there you go. That was a 3-6-2-5. So let's go back to the key of G. So now you want to play on each chord change. And so beside transcribing stuff and getting riffs, just sort of the theory behind this is that you would have to learn, before we talked about modes, so we're going to talk about modes again, that there's 3 modes for these chords. The 2 chord is A minor, the 5 chord is, I'm playing a D9, and then the 1 chord, I'm playing a G major 7. So what are the 3 modes that I need to play this? I need the mode that's the 2nd mode in the key of G. I need the mode that's the 5th mode in the key of G, or on a G major scale. And then the mode that's on the root. So somebody out there, tell me what are the three modes? Minor, dominant, and major. Correct. But what kind of minor? This A minor should be what kind of scale? A natural minor scale? And then the dominant, that's correct. The dominant should be the Mixolydian scale. And then the 1 chord should be the Ionian, the major. So the 2 chord should be Dorian. That's right. Dorian, Mixolydian, Ionian. And so if you're going, well, why? And that would be because they're coming from the scale tone chords. So if you take a major scale, and you put a chord, a 4-note chord on each, you would get G major 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, D7, E minor 7, F sharp half diminished, and then back to G major 7 again. And if you put modes to them, like if you started on G and played, that's the Ionian mode, or the major scale. If you started on A but played all the notes in G, that would be Dorian. If you started on E, you would get the Lydian. No, you would get the Phrygian. If you started on C, you would get the Lydian. If you started on D, you would get the Mixolydian. E, the natural minor. F sharp, you'd get the Locrian. And then back to G, you would get the Ionian. So we're going to play Dorian, A Dorian, D Mixolydian, and G Ionian. Now, so you'll go, well, wait a minute. These are all the same notes. These are all the notes in a G major scale. So why am I just not playing G major? And you can. But to me, when I play A Dorian, let's see, Is it the same as the keys major scale? Yes, just starting in different places. It's what I always felt. Absolutely. That's correct. It's the same as the keys major scale, just starting in different places, and we call them modes. And so if you're playing G but you're starting on A, that's Dorian. Now, when I think of Dorian, I think of a natural minor scale, but with a raised sixth. And the reason why I don't think about G when I play A Dorian is that the notes that surround the A Dorian chord, or an A minor 7 chord, are A, C, E, and G. The notes that surround a G chord are G, B, D, and F. So sort of my landing points are and so especially like the gypsy guys, they enclose all around the chord tones. So you'd never do that with a scale, or I guess you could say it's some kind of scale, but it's really not. It's just the arpeggio. Or you can enclose. Yeah. So then for the D is the Mixolydian. And so there, again, you would have your arpeggio. Put the 7th in, etc. Put the 9th in it. If you put enough notes in it, you just get the scale again. So now you could take these and you could play chord tones. And when you begin playing the scales on each one, think a lot about the chord tones. I'm a big chord tone guy, that any scales that I do play are sort of accidental, that they're there, but I'm always seeing the chord. So if I play a D Mixolydian scale, I'm thinking like the root, the 9, the 3rd, the 11, the 5, the 13, the 7, and the root again. And so I can see the arpeggio in there. So I can see all those arpeggios in there. And so what it does, it allows me to do many different things. You know, I can just see a lot of D stuff. I can see a lot of A minor stuff too. You know, and not just single note, but chords. You know, we're guitar players. We actually can play chords. So you could take a solo, and you literally could take a solo and just play chords. You know, if you wanted to. Let me back this sucker up. so there I literally just did chords. All right. So that's, that's something that you can do, is just taking your chords and playing a solo. You know, I did a gig just this past weekend with a great gypsy guitar player, Ben Wood, and he took a couple of solos and he called them rhythm solos. And it was sort of like that, where he did all chords, not really single notes. And so, you can definitely do that. And then, of course, you can take all those chords and all that chord knowledge, and you can just play them in single notes, that you don't have to play the chords. So it'd be like this. So there you go. So now I played on the chord changes that time. Okay? So now which is better? You tell me. Oh, everybody weigh in now. So let me know which is better, playing in the key of or playing on every chord. That's what we're here to figure out tonight. Which do you prefer? Or which do you think sounds better? What's better? Playing in the key of or playing on the chord? Let me know. George Porto weighs in with chord changes are better. Playing on chord changes are better. It is better. Okay. What does anybody else think? Everybody's going to say chord changes? Nobody else has an opinion? So, George, you're the only one with an opinion. And, oh, wait, here we go. Arthur's in with chord changes. All right. I can dig it. I definitely can dig it. So now, let's take a look at something else here now. So I'm here to tell you that, believe it or not, I think it's both. And I think that everybody would write in that column chord changes, because I think that in order to play on chord changes, you probably need to be able to play in the key of. So I would say that when you're starting out playing, you're probably, just using your ears and transcribing. And so, for a lot of you, like for me, I didn't start out with bebop, and but I did grow up hearing Django Reinhardt type music in my house, because I was raised in my grandparents' house, and they were born at the turn of the century, the turn of the 20th century, and so I heard a lot of that music. So I kind of had that sort of arpeggiated chord thing in my ear. But the popular music that I listened to was more of the typical. I was really into like the funky rhythm groove oriented stuff. And of course, like the Beatles and Stones and Led Zeppelin, and all those bands came out when I was young, and it was like, whoa. So I was digging that. But I would say that, by the time I picked up the guitar, I had an idea of playing on chord changes, but I knew I had to be able to get like this scale stuff happening, and not just relying just 100% on transcribing and my ear and stuff. Transcribing is great. It teaches you language. You learn words. You learn how to speak bebop or how to speak blues. But at some point, it's not good to just be somebody that can spit out stuff that you transcribed, because you're not really improvising. You're sort of just patching together bits and pieces of stuff that you've heard, and so you do want to form some kind of harmonic concept. And it doesn't have to be like, oh well, like I studied and I could write music and I could read music. I've done sessions and gigs and recordings with musicians that don't read at all and don't write at all, but they have worked out a theoretical thing in their head. They do have something more than just a series of sort of riffs that they play. They have stuff worked out. Let's see. If the chord changes are fast, I tend to go to scales. Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you can't. Like I was just playing Stella by Starlight, and in Stella, things are moving like crazy, right? So it's like I don't know what scale I would play over both of those, Then all of a sudden, we're going to the key of E flat. Okay. B flat, D minor, a 2-5 into a backdoor 2-5 into F, 2-5 into G, and it's G7 augmented. See, so there's like a 2-5. A flat, some kind of F, then a series of just 2-5s, minor 2-5s. So it's hard to just play scales on that. Would be very hard, So there's times when that becomes harder. So let me see if I can find a play along for Stella by Starlight, and I'll try and slug my way through a chorus here. Let's see. Let's come down there, get rid of that, come over here, search Stella by Starlight, play along. Okay, let's see what this one is like. This looks like a Jamie Aersol type one. Let's see what this is like. Oh, it sounds just like it.
No matter how near or far
Yeah,
we are this
yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's so quiet. That's a little better. All right. So there I was forced to play over the chord changes where I just, I would say, like to me, it's easier to play on the chord changes than to try and think of what scales or modes would fit over those because I just see I see all the chord changes, and I can just grab all those chords because so many of the lines that I've learned how to play are all sort of chords or triads, or upper extensions of chords. So to me, everything looks like chords all the time. So Doug, does the melody follow the changes or the key? That's a good one. The melody usually follows the changes. Although that's all in the key. There it's not in the key. Not in the key. Wait, yes it is. So yeah, that's a lot in the key. That's not. So that's a great question. So does the melody follow the changes or the key? So that melody was mostly in the key, but is it following the chord changes? It's in those chord changes. It's in those chord changes. In those chord changes. In those chord changes. In those chord changes. It's in those chord changes. In those. Yeah. So yes, the melody is following the chord changes. And a lot of times you'll see a song where it'll say it might say, like here, it might say G altered. And And you're like, well, what's the alteration? Well, one of the alterations will definitely be the melody. So on this G7, it's a sharp 5 and a sharp 9. And that's the 11 on the C minor. Yeah. So yeah, yes, the melody does follow the chord changes, but it still could be very diatonic. But definitely the chords are coming in underneath the melody, and that's another thing. Again, knowing the melody, boy, that you can totally solo just off the melody. So say you don't know anything. I don't know anything about nothing, but I know the melody. So there you go. Embellishing the melody can be your solo. And tons of singers do that. Tons and tons and tons of singers do that. That their solo is just the melody, and they embellish it. They fool around with it. They ornament it. They change the rhythm of it. But they stick pretty much to the melody. Because perhaps they don't know anything about harmony or soloing, and they don't play another instrument, and they just sing, and they've never transcribed, and so they're like, take a solo, and they're like, okay, and all they got is the melody. That's their bread and butter, is the melody. So that's another tool in your toolbox. And that's another thing too, is that if you're going to improvise and you want to be an improvising player, make sure that you know the song you're going to improvise on. Again, I'm just shocked. We would have repertory classes, and we'd have people come in, or somebody would be taking a lesson with me, and they will have transcribed a solo. So I'm transcribing Kenny Burrell on whatever, and I'd be like, okay, and then I'd be, all right, so now you comp for me, like I comped for you when you played your transcription. Very good. Now I'm gonna play some stuff and you comp for me. Well, I didn't really learn the chord changes, and I'm like, what? So think of it this way: that like to learn a song, first thing you should do is listen to the song, and find an arrangement or an artist that plays it that you really love, and listen a lot to that, and try and copy as much as you can, and then like learn the melody, learn the chord changes, learn a chord melody, and it doesn't have to be a crazy hard one. So it doesn't have to be crazy. Sahid Ransi, hi, hello, welcome. Yes. So you need to know the song inside and out, and then to me you could start figuring out how to improvise. So why don't we pick, like, let's go the opposite direction, all right? Because I'm going to try and wrap this up by 9:00. My time. I'm sorry. I want to try and wrap this up in an hour, because I have a tendency to weigh, I can go on all night, and I want to try not to do that tonight. So let me go to another really sort of simple thing that we didn't do tonight. We didn't do a blues. So why don't we do like just a B flat blues? B flat blues jazz backing track. Let's see what we got here. Backing track, B flat blues. This looks suspect. Slow blues, no. Jazz blues, B flat. This looks happy and peppy. Wait, here we go. Cool blues. I guess this might be C. Should be, if it's cool.
In the Romo household.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Honey, you still in bed?
Yeah.
Now, our volume has gone way up. Okay, we have 5 seconds to wait. 4, 3, 2, play. Now it's quiet. Oh, it is. B flat. So first we need a head, right? A little fast. This is too fast. I'm not feeling it. Not for that song anyway. Let me see what else we got here. What other kind of B flat we got? This says 200 beats a minute. Wonder what that means. It sounds nice, but it's too fast. Medium 12-bar blues, B flat. Here we go. Oh, yeah, shuffle blues. Things ain't what they used to be. So you could just play in the key. So that's just in the key of. So what I did there was I played B flat minor pentatonic. All right. So now if we wanted to play a little bit more on each chord, what could we do with pentatonics? That's my next question for all of you out there. So now we're playing, we have a scale. We have a pentatonic scale. It's not a major scale, it's not a minor scale, it's a major pentatonic scale. Well, this is actually a minor pentatonic scale. B flat minor. 5 notes. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. Yep. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Now, I played that over the B flat blues, and I picked that because this is like a shuffle blues, so immediately made me think of pentatonic. So if I wanted to play pentatonics and I wanted to sound the chords more, what kind of pentatonic chord could I use on the B flat chord? Obviously, I can use a minor pentatonic. Is there any other pentatonic I could use on the one chord? Any ideas, guys? Somebody weigh in there and tell me what other kind of pentatonic scale I could play. And that's the other thing too. Know your pentatonic scale in every single position. Major pentatonic. Yes, Arthur, you are correct. You are correct, sir. So now check this out. Now I'm going to play the same thing again. And I am going to play a major pentatonic on the one chord, the B flat. And then when it goes to the 4 chord, I'm going to play the minor pentatonic. So this is all major. Minor. Major. Minor. Major. Minor. Major. Minor. Major. Minor. Major. Major. Minor. Major. Minor. There you go. Major and then mixolydian. That's right, Justin. Good. Good man. Absolutely. You could use a major scale or a mixolydian scale, and there also are sort of like pentatonics that work well over mixolydian, because that's another thing, is that you could take these pentatonics and you can move them around and just experiment with how they sound over stuff. So say, for example, on the B flat, obviously the major pentatonic works, the minor pentatonic works. Now what if we play on the B flat a C minor pentatonic? Now if we think in B flat, the notes that we get, C is the 9, we get a B flat the root, we get a G the 13, we get the F, which is the 5th, and we get the E flat, which is the 4th, and the 9, again. So both of those work on B flat. All right, so now check this out. So now we're actually taking it a step further. We're playing on chord changes that are not there. Right? So we're playing B flat minor pentatonic, C minor pentatonic. So now we got 3 we can use. Major. I'm sorry. Minor. C minor. major. Minor. Then the C minor. Minor, B flat minor. So there's a whole study that you could do just on pentatonics and moving them around. So the bottom line here is that the question which we asked, which is better, to play on chord changes or to play in the key of, the answer ultimately is both are equally justifiable, but one is harder than the other. So the hope is that you get good enough on the instrument that you don't avoid playing something because you can't play it. So this way, if you hear like a nice long scalar run, you can play that because I heard that I wanted to do it, as opposed to I heard a very arpeggiatic chordal thing. So I wanted to do something very chordal there, and so I did. Then I wanted to do something very melodic, and I did. Then I wanted to do something totally out, and so I did. So it wasn't that I stopped doing something because I couldn't. So the bottom line is everything in the right place and with the right phrasing and the right feel and in the right context can sound great. So there is no one thing that's better than another, but truthfully, there are things that are a little bit harder to come by, that it takes a bit more work. And so that's why I always think of this journey of playing an instrument as, like I just said, a journey. Like you never really want to get to the end. You want to just always keep progressing and going. And so whatever level you're on, just really dig in and enjoy that level and get everything you can out of it. So like if the only thing that you can play is a minor pentatonic scale, fine. Just wring everything that you can out of it, explore it every which way you can, all over the neck, and do the same thing for your major scales. I can only play a C scale. I can only play a major scale. And I would go, okay, so play it for me. I'd go, great. Can you play it anywhere else? They'd go, and I'd go, good. Well, what about starting here? And so again, you have to really look at the neck, that it's only that big, right? That's it. That's the whole, that's it, the whole neck that we play. And so you really need to know everything from here to here. So if you're playing a C major scale, you should be able to go to C here and C here and actually down to E, which is part of the E scale, part of the C scale. And just everywhere. You don't want any frets that are dusty. You want all those frets to be worn. So do that. And I think that that's it. I'm going to wrap up tonight, and I think that this was a good shop talk where we got to talk about this whole idea of playing on the chord or playing in the key of, and I think the bottom line is both are justifiable, both are good, and the thing I would leave you with again is transcribe. Always start from transcribing. Find a song that you love, that you're just mad about, and try and learn everything you can off the record, and then get a chart. I mean, for me, what I do is when I find something that I really love, I actually don't go to the real book. I write out my own chart. I listen to the song, I transcribe it, I write it down, I write down the chord changes, and then maybe from there, I'll try and figure something else out. Oh, thanks, Arthur. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope everybody did. If you're so inclined, then you want to drop a couple of pennies in the tip jar. You can see down below there's PayPal and Venmo, and that's greatly appreciated. Always keeping me going, up and running. And just a couple of other things. This Saturday, not this Saturday, this Sunday, Valentine's Day, we're doing a very special pay-per-view show just on YouTube, and it's just $15, and it's the full La Pompatak band with Ernie Pugliese and Albert Rivera and Michael Getz and myself, and we're going to be doing literally, I think, like 16 special songs for Valentine's Day, and it's just going to be a great show. It should be hilarious, and I hope you can join us for that. It's just on YouTube, and you can always go to my website, and you can find out info there. And also, you can go to my website, and there's a subscription page if you're interested in doing a lot more of this stuff. I have tons of charts and all kinds of stuff, and there's different levels of involvement that you could do for a certain amount of bread every month. And that's it. Love to hear from you. My email is right above my head. You can always write to me. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, and ring the bell so you get notifications. You can also, when you visit my website, sign up for my email. Not sign up for my email, sign up for my mailing list. Yes, sign up for my mailing list. Give me your email. And every week I send out a newsletter. And along with that newsletter, you get a free download. So every single week you get a free download. So if nothing else, you can get the download and never read the newsletter. But I hope you would read it. And that's it. That's all I got to say tonight. And thank you, everybody in the chat bar. Thank you, everybody out there that wasn't in the chat bar but was checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see everybody Sunday for the Valentine's Day show. And then I will be back here next Wednesday with another shop talk. And I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. But if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll be the first to know. I send out the newsletter like every Sunday. So then you'll get to see firsthand what's happening next week. So that's it, everybody. Good night. Peace. Be good.